Welcome back to test number 18. And after the successes of test number 17, I thought it would be pretty difficult to kind of one up ourselves, but this tactic I think might be even better than the last. At least I have more experience with this tactic. I've been playing this tactic on my Twitch stream. The link is down below, and new followers and subscribers are always welcome. So come meet us there on Twitch. But this tactic that we're going to talk about today is a defensively focused 4-2-3-1 that in the Twitch save has me flying high my first season in Serie A with Vasco da Gama in Brazil, just destroying the league and doing great with a squad that is nowhere near as good as the high flying teams in the division. So this tactic is a little bit more battle tested than other tactics that we release on the channel, which are more theory crafted through the tester and things like that. But today I think a tactic that has gone through a lot of personal changes as I've adjusted it, and then we ran it through the tester, and the results are extremely impressive. So it's a 4-2-3-1, and it's one that I'm really excited about. So let's talk about it a little more. Before we do, though, remember down in the link in the description to download the test database and to join the Discord community, as well as getting a part of the Patreon. So however else you want to support the stream is up to you, but liking and subscribing to this video is a big first step. Or subscribe to the channel, is it? I got to get better at this kind of stuff. But anyway, let's talk about the tactic. All right, so this is the tactic, the 4-2-3-1, like we talked about. Now, it is very similar to the kind of tactic that the AI runs with the double DM as the base of the 4-2-3-1, and that is something we have continued to replicate here in this tactic with the ball-winning midfielder on defend next to the volante on attack. Let's take you through some of the team instructions where we go through a few of the player instructions and a few other things that I want to make sure I mention about the tactic. But in the team instructions, these should look pretty familiar. It's playing fairly narrow, pass into space, play out of defense, work the ball into the box, shorter passing directness with a higher tempo, which I think you do need a certain standard of player to pull off certain the directness and the tempo, but I think most of us do play in a league where, at least relative to the league level, these settings shouldn't be too much of a problem for you. We are rolling it out quickly. We are counter-pressing and countering. But also we are not playing a high line. So similar to last week's tactic, we are playing a standard line with get stuck in and trap inside. If you were to try this tactic in PvP, I would not get stuck in, but I would continue to trap inside, press more often, and prevent that short goalkeeper distribution. Sorry, press much more often. So high press, standard line. The volante as a ball carrier tends to make sure that despite you're sitting a little bit deeper, you are sort of still seeing a connection between that midfield two and the attacking four. So we look through some of the player instructions I think are somewhat important. We are on cross less often and sit narrower with this inverted winger, but also tackling harder. We are also on with this attacking midfielder, just tackle harder. And with this inverted winger, we're also on cross less often, sit narrower, and tackle harder. So there are a lot of instructions here with how these players are meant to play. Now, one thing that I will say now quickly is that I like playing a left footer and a right footer on the left and right sides. So most people, when they see an IW, are like, I want to put a right footer on the left. That will lead to some goals because their inside foot will be on the bottom. I'm sorry, on the inside, right? And shooting position. But it does mean that they will have to be in a worse position to cross or cut it back for their opponent, for their teammates. So I like playing, and I've been playing in this shape, and I tested in this shape with Leon Bailey on the left and Ismail Assar on the right. And what I'm seeing in live play is that these players are still scoring goals, but on top of the goal output, they're getting more assists and they're crossing it from this area in the box. So cross less often tends to mean they're not crossing it from out here. But if they're in this area anyway, they still will cross it. And now they have the ball on their right outside crossing boot, so they can swing that ball across to the pressing forward or to a late run for the AM support or from the inverted winger. something to make sure you pay attention to in your game. So we do have the fullback on support over here, as well as this wingback on attack. So sorry, also on support. So the wingback is meant to be a little bit more progressive because of the ball winning midfielder on this side. The fullback on support is meant to stay back a little bit more because of the volante on this side. So there are a lot of options in here for you to play around with as well. Whether or not you want to remove the cross more often, there's a lot of different instructions, but the overall point is the shape is solid. It leads to good results, it leads to good highlights, and it is very defensively sound. I think in the Brazilian league right now, we have a clean sheet every like 3 out of 4 games, or 3 out of every 5 games right now. And the tactic is also doing very well in an offline save for me with Esbjerg in the third tier of Denmark. So I'm seeing tons of great results with this tactic, and I'm getting a lot of like actual game time in with this tactic, and I can't recommend it enough. So let's take a look at some of the highlights and really see what this tactic's capable of from an attacking perspective before taking a look at some of the results. So this first goal that we're going to talk about is an example of the right-footed inverted winger on that far side. So because they're right-footed, they will have the opportunity to stay wide with the ball and get that cross in, but also they'll be in a position to score when they're not carrying the ball. So here we go. This play is going to start because Ismail Assar puts a good amount of pressure on the defender from Bodeglimt, but then Sar just gets past the defender, stays a little bit wider, and has that right foot ball. Now, look at how tight, though, that Leon Bailey, the left-footed inverted winger, is on the other side. So Isak ends up with the assist here by cushioning the ball down for Leon Bailey. But even without the ball then, despite being left-footed, Leon Bailey is still making that inverted winger run and is ending up on the back post where they need to be to get the assist from Isak in this game. All right, so it's another goal that starts with a turnover here, and it's a good trap by Guzens here to win this ball away from Gerson, who's a very good midfielder from Marseille and someone you should look to sign in your saves. But it's also going to illustrate the left-footed inverted winger again. So this is a position where, as you watch this highlight unfold, I want you to think about what would a right-footed inverted winger have done in this situation, and would it have led to the same kind of highlight? So Guzens intercepts it here, or at least rips it off the ball. Skamaka plays it into space to Bailey. Now, if you had a right-footed inverted winger, what would he do when he got to the byline here, right? He's got a defender, Gigot, tracking him, right? That means he's got to turn the ball out, which gives the rest of the defense a chance to settle in. But being left-footed leaves this play open to him. He's able to cut it back towards the penalty spot. Skamaka runs to space and slams it home. But it's a simple play and a highlight you've probably seen in your games, but I think it illustrates the power of having the left-footed inverted winger on the left and the right-footed inverted winger on the right. So it depends. What do you want your inverted wingers to be? Primary goal scorers that run through on through balls from deep in the midfield on diagonals? Or do you want them to be ball carriers who act as a winger despite the inverted winger role? They just do it from a much narrower position, right? So the difference is Bailey is here on the pitch when he makes the cross. A winger might be over here. Okay, so to me, it's just a way of still playing wingers if you play left on the left and right on the right, but they operate from much narrower position because of where the game sets up inverted wingers and the movement they tend to make off the ball. So that's really the reason why I've been playing around with it, and why in my save I've been playing left on the left and right on the right. Really, you can use this tactic either way, and you get a few more assists from your fullback and wingback if you do play inverted wingers as right on the left and left on the right traditionally. But it's just, I wanted to make sure I had a couple highlights in the sequence to show you the power of left on left and right on right. All right, so this is another quick little highlight, but I do want to show you that AM on support can still be a primary attacker and how they interact with that inverted winger to create little overloads. So as we kind of look at this play here, it's a simple ball here from Adams, but if we pause it right here, or sorry, from Isak, if we pause it, let's actually, I missed the pause button. Let's back it up just a little bit. look at what's happened here on the 2-on-1, right? So we've got Izak drop when Izak dropped into space, and you have the Volante over here and Sar. They've pulled a lot of defenders to them, especially because of Paulinia. And the fullback maybe here, or maybe the opposing team's playing a wingback. Either way, we have two players kind of overloading this defender. Now, in possession, instead of in transition, like this highlight is, Malinovsky and Sar would not be so close to each other, but setting up, waiting for delivery, they're able to kind of 2-on-1 this defender. Malinovsky gets through and scores. The defender does make a good effort at trying to intercept that, but just wasn't in a great position either way. With two attackers bearing down on them, it's hard to really hard to blame the defender in that situation. It's really just the whole setup of the defense and the way the offense generated that opportunity. But the attacking midfield support is also a very powerful role this year that is often underutilized, and something that you should probably take a look at in your own saves as well. All right, before we take a look at the results, I did want to introduce you to Junior Kayembe, who was a new gen generated by the Elite League team, and Junior at 15 years old with that 5-star potential looks delicious. Like, 12 acceleration and 9 pace are really the only knocks here against Kayembe. 6'4", that 12 jumping reach is going to go up. Already has 10 off the ball, 13 anticipation, 12 composure, 14 finishing, 14 technique, 15 teamwork, 15 work rate. Like, at 15, Junior Kayembe is going to be a world beater. Just put him on that quickness training early and often. He's going to get these up to like 16, 15, 17, 16, like that kind of range. At those pace indicators are going to skyrocket from the age of 15 to 20, 21 with that kind of training. So Kayembe is going to be a world beater. It's a shame we don't get to play with him, but let's take a look at some of the more detailed results. So really, the headline news here is almost another first place finish in the Elite League, and we did win first place in all other leagues. So a second 1-1-1 finish is phenomenal and technically the best test result, but we didn't get first because in the last result we got first in the Elite, third in the average, but this time it's a second and 3 first. So mathematically a little bit better, but the points total in the Elite League not good enough to win the division this time around. But let's take a look at the results in a little bit more detail, and we will start at the bottom in the Underdog League. So if you look at this table, 104 goals scored, 31 conceded, plus 73 goal difference to the tune of 95 points. Only the one solitary loss. Who beat us? Let's check that out. Galatasaray away beat this team, but other than that, almost an undefeated season. Not much to see here. If we scroll up to the average league, 85 goals scored in the average league is a very big number, especially considering it is 14 points clear of Benfica, 14 goals clear, sorry, of Benfica, down in second place in the goal scoring charts, and had almost the best defensive record as well. Only Arsenal bettering the average team by 1 goal, but a plus 54 goal difference in the average league is an incredible result and something that this tactic should be really proud of. Now, the balance league is especially tasty. 93 points in the balance league and a plus 92 goal difference, almost a higher goal difference than the points total, which is always a nice little side quest in your FM journey. But 122 goals scored is really the story here, and only 30 conceded. So just like the best defensive result of any of the 3 leagues so far, and the best offensive result, just an incredible finish. And remember, this is a division that has Dortmund, Sevilla, and Inter, and the high-flying Freiburg in the division. So this is not a cakewalk of a division either, and just only the 3 losses to Monaco twice away, to Dortmund away. But other than that, almost a very clean season. And then in the Elite League, again, we're starting to get used to the rarefied air of the Elite League, finishing here in second place, a positive goal difference. Now, perhaps we're leaking a few too many goals, and that is partially because of a lead leaking 7 red cards. So there's always going to be some variance here in these saves when you have get stuck in on, is you know, if it were me and I'm playing like the games in live play, I can turn Get Stuck In off when it's appropriate. We can't do that here in the season long test. And that is leading to some more goals being conceded and stuff in those kind of situations. So we'd probably expect a boost a little bit in the points column and even more so in the goal difference column if we had the ability to turn off the Get Stuck In. But just from a pure, like, you know, testing result where we can't make those kind of changes, +9 goal difference in the Elite League is already decent, but really it's the points total where it shines. Could we have turned some of these losses into draws? Maybe, if we were live playing. I think a title could have been on the cards, but anyway, from a testing result perspective, those of you who use the testers, second place in the Elite League is nothing to scoff at. So an excellent result all around. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as well as checking out all the links in the description to the Discord where you can download the save game file, the Dropbox folder where you can download the testing save game file, and of course, a link to the Patreon where you can submit the channel, and also my Twitch channel. See, there's all the links that you could ever need to get more stick piano in your life. So I hope I see you around on all the other platforms as well. But until next week, enjoy this tactic.